I'm Michael Fisher, craft beer enthusiast and industry professional. I'm on a journey to find some people whose professions or hobbies revolve around the fermentation of malt and hops. We're going to dive into their passions and share some conversations over their favorite brews. So join me as I bring the brew to you. Welcome to the next round of Brew To You. I'm your host, Michael Fisher, and today I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at Stage AE, and I'm here with Craig Johnson, the co-founder of Festivals Unlimited. I'm pretty sure some of you, probably most of you, have been to one of his events somewhere in either Ohio or Pennsylvania. Craig, thanks for coming out today.
Hey, excited to be here.
Give us some background, maybe some history, and tell us how beer plays in your world.
We got started in 2008, and it's been a while. We started in Cincinnati, Ohio, and our first festival was the Cincy Beer Fest. I had been to some festivals out in Boston, one of the Beer Advocate festivals, and I said, why don't we do this here? Because I think it's gonna work. Craft beer's up and coming. So we got started, and our first one was in a 6,000 square foot ballroom in Covington, Kentucky at the Radisson Hotel. And we sold out with 700 people. And we thought it was just the greatest thing in the world. And that was just the first year. So then the second year, we went to 2 sessions to try to squeeze more people into it. And they were like, this could actually become a business. The first festival is our first nonprofit partner. It still is the same one in Cincinnati, called the Big Joe Duskin Music Education Foundation. And we've raised over $250,000 just for that organization.
Wow. Well, it makes you feel a little better about those calories. You're like, I didn't want to drink that many, but it was for charity.
It's been an incredible ride and experience. We expanded to Columbus, and then a couple years later to Cleveland and Pittsburgh at the same time.
So the people are aware, like, well, what is this festival? So it is Cleveland, if you're in Cleveland, Cleveland Summer Beer, Winter Beer Festival are the really big ones. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati have become the 4th and 5th largest beer festivals in the country.
Right, it's pretty amazing. So it was extremely difficult to decide which beers to present. My theme is history and people around these beers. So the first one is an oldie but a goodie, and it's Little King's Cream Ale from Cincinnati, Ohio. First it was Shaneling, and then they merged with Hudipole, 2 old beer brands in Cincinnati. And this was in 1986. And I happened to be the intern for them when I was in college. And one afternoon, the president of the brewery calls me in the office and says, need to take this down to Hudipole. And I thought that was really weird because we were 2 separate breweries.
Yeah.
And so I'm in the elevator and I peek at the papers, and I delivered the merger papers for Shaneling and Hudipole. So that was my neat story about this, but Little King's is one of the icons of Cincinnati. Everyone remembers growing up with this beer. They had King cases, so they're all in 7-ounce bottles. That's the niche. In the 80s, it had expanded to 30 states. It was becoming a big beer. And they were the exact same size as Rolling Rock. And in 1986, Rolling Rock did a national ad campaign of the Babbling Brook and went off becoming the yuppie beer of the 80s.
Let's cheers to the Little Kings.
The Little Kings, King Me.
And for a green bottle, it doesn't have that green bottle twang.
If you have a whole lot of them, it tends to hurt you the next day.
Yeah, the exit strategy is a little bumpy.
Yeah, we call it the little kill ya, is what.
No, but that was good. Nice, easy to drink, and they are cute. I feel like a giant. And I don't have a particularly large, I've got this sausage hand. I don't have anything, but I feel like, yeah. It reminds me of a joke I can't tell on this program. So for the second beer, it's my understanding that there's some historical tie-in to your business partner, Matt King, this beer, Beer Fest. So get into that for me.
I opened a bar in Covington, Kentucky in 2000. We were one of the first ones to embrace the import wave. And we were the first multi-tap in Cincinnati. We had 16 taps, my God. So when I first tried this beer, Reisdorf Kolsch, I said, this is the beer that is going to get people to try all these other imports, all these dark beers, everything else. If we can get them onto this, then they'll reach out and try other things. And this became our go-to gateway beer. Matt King became a regular at it. He was very young. He's right out of college. We became good friends. He actually performed in our bar, and he still plays at the festivals occasionally.
Yeah.
So anyway, we became good friends and stuff, and that's where it started in terms of our relationship. The whole style of a Kolsch just lends itself so much, and the Reisdorf brand is the cleanest, crispest, perfect example of the style. It is a fantastic beer. If I see this beer anywhere, I have to order it.
I am a major proponent of well-finished beer that is crystal clear.
For me, it's the crispness.
Yeah, this is fantastic. They sell this in that 5-liter mini keg.
It's even better in a 50-liter.
Right? So moving in to beer number 3, this beer has got some ties to your home, Covington.
This beer is from the Braxton Brewing Company in Covington, Kentucky.
Yeah.
And this is the second beer in their series where they have partnered with Grater's Ice Cream.
Yeah.
French pot, it's all made in small pots, even as big as they are. It's incredible. First beer was their black raspberry flavor, and it was a stout. And now they've come out with the Berliner Weiss style, and it's their key lime pie. And I am not normally the one for the crazy flavors with all these things thrown into it, you know, where it's the kitchen sink of popularity or whatever. But normally Berliner Weisses are too sour for me. And now this has the key lime flavor that just enough sweetness, great stuff.
Oh, wow. So it smells good. You definitely get that lime, but coming back down, you get a mild tartness. I'm getting that creamy character in a good way, and that graham cracker. I'm really getting all the layers.
This stuff is just unbelievable. Sitting outside on a hot day, this beer is absolutely my summer crush beer.
Cincinnati, you know, Grater's Ice Cream is almost a must-do every time I'm there. But my standby staple must-dos when I'm in Cincinnati, I gotta eat Skyline chili.
Absolutely.
I have come to the realization that if you are going to a chili parlor for a 3-way, 4-way, 5-way, insert your way, you can't beat Skyline.
It is iconic in Cincinnati. It's the largest, as you said, it's most prevalent. It's what we grew up with after all sporting events in high school. That's where you went.
So I'm at that Holiday Inn one day, I'm getting out of an Uber, and I remember this moment, so it couldn't have been one of those Ubers, and a Lamborghini pulls into this parking lot. This is a pretty unassuming parking lot. It's a Waffle House and Skyline. The gull-wing door goes up, and a very tall, athletic gentleman jumps out And I finally asked somebody, they're like, well, a lot of the Bengals players live right here. And this is the closest skyline. And they love it.
So the one I go to with great regularity is the Skyline Chili at 3rd and Philadelphia Streets in Covington, right 3 blocks from the river. And the two of the ladies there that you should ask for, they're great people, Terry and Willie. They have been there, both of them, for over 32 years. One of them has been there for 38 years.
I'll tell you, go to that Skyline, ask for Terry or Willie, tell them Craig Johnson from Beer Fest sent you, and I promise you, you have the Brew To You guarantee you'll get all the free oyster crackers you can eat. This is an interesting one. It's one that's close to my heart. In general, I've got some excellent relationships with the people there at Fatheads.
The Headhunter IPA. This is the greatest true IPA, first West Coast Ohio-made IPA, and hugely award-winning. Immediately won GABF Gold.
I believe that this is the most award-winning IPA in the country.
And there's not a weak beer in their lineup. I've never met a person that did not like any Fathead beer that they had tried. So Fatheads is so important to our organization though, because when we came to Pittsburgh in 2013, they came on as sponsors, title sponsor of the first festival. Opinionated craft beer drinkers.
Sure.
We're spreading the rumor that our first festival here was going to be a Bud Fest. You know, it's in a professional venue like this, a concert venue. It plays well into spreading that kind of rumor. And our goal has always been to go to the best venues in each city. Convention centers in the winter and places like Stage AE, Express Live, Jacobs Pavilion in the other cities. So they came on and literally overnight, that discussion ended because Fathead's name was on it and that we were a craft beer festival. The full brewery is absolutely, you cannot miss it. It is literally next to the interstate. I mean, you could pull over and take a picture of the bartender off I-71 as you pull into.
I think if you slow down or roll your window down and ask at the right time and say, throw me a headhunter, they'll chuck one up on 71 for you. The fifth beer is always the curveball, the beer question. And I figure the beer guy who's serving 18,000 people every beer they can possibly consume in a night, when it's over and the dust is settled and it's put away and cleaned up, what beer do you drink?
We're beered out often. And so what I go to is an unbelievable bourbon. And one of my favorites has always been Maker's Mark. Their Private Select Picks, which is one of our sponsors in Cincinnati that has been our sponsor from the beginning, the Party Source. It's the nation's largest liquor store. If you haven't been, great place to visit. So they do store picks where they actually go to the distillery and sample a whole lot of different barrels, and then they pick a barrel. And then out of that barrel is all bottled just for them, and it's sold at the store. It's always the best. It's just really, really smooth. The nuances are amazing, and I like with just one ice cube and mellows it out just a little bit more. But it's a great way to just have a mellow end to a festival.
Well, cheers.
Cheers.
That's dangerous. This is 109.6 proof as for the barrel select, but typically traditional Makers is 46 proof. Prior to bourbon becoming what it is in the last, 5 years?
Yeah.
Jim Beam and Maker's Mark have always been like, Maker's was always kind of the high line that was available everywhere, and Jim Beam was in everybody's well.
But a great way to end what's usually a successful weekend. You know, we have a staff of 15 to 20 friends that come and help us on these events, and we're all together at the end of these things. You've kind of gone through a little war together.
Sure.
You know, every one of these has its trials and tribulations, and it's a great way to just sit back and enjoy.
Well, that about wraps it up for this round of Brew To You, and the last round of season 1. It's been quite a ride, 10 rounds. Craig, I really appreciate you coming out. Real special thanks and shout out to Matt King Don't forget to check out their social media. Those are also the website names where you can buy tickets to their great events. Be on the lookout for season 2. A lot of big things happening, and we'll catch you on the next round of Brew To You.